In this video, Sam Seder makes an argument that would be really interesting if it were sincere. I think everyone will agree this just comes together as a kind of improvised set of excuses. But the closing argument here is that nobody, ethically or morally, is going to care about ecology, veganism, or animal rights. Nobody is going to care because Sam Seder is old enough to remember a time when the United States of America was killing thousands of people in Afghanistan. And he claims nobody cared about that. What an interesting philosophy that would be. What an interesting fictional character in a novel that would be if you had someone who really sincerely lost faith, who lost any hope in the possibility that ethics matter in this world, in this life, in politics, because of their negative experience with the politics of the Afghan war. That would be an interesting character in a novel or in a film. But Sam, that's not who you are. You're just a talk show host, grasping at any crummy excuse that you can. And that's the best excuse you came up with for why you don't care about this issue that the caller presents to you.
Well, to be fair, last night I had an Impossible Burger for the first time, and that was actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, after having an Impossible Burger, do you feel like, that you want to make that transition towards a more plant-based diet, you personally?
Without a doubt. But the tough part for me would be more like fish and some chicken. But I progressively I'm eating less and some pork, I guess, in the context of sausage occasionally.
I will say that what you do on an individual level really doesn't matter that much in terms of the world.
There must have been a time where you had that state of mind and you knew that saying that, just saying, oh, what I do doesn't matter, those excuses that people make for not being vegan, that they're bullshit. We need to take responsibility for what we do. And we're the cause of this. Each and every one of us,
Yeah, the moral appeal is not going to be effective for the greatest number of people. I share the goal of wanting people to eat less meat, for the animals, for health, for the planet. I think the most effective way to do that, and the most effective arguments for most people, will be that we need to have a habitable planet. Because when it comes down to morality, it's entirely subjective. Unless there's everybody believes in the same moral system, everybody believes in the same platonic ideals somewhere in the sky. It's very hard to prove that something is immoral when it comes to something that has so little agreement like animal rights.
Well, I think it's just really important, just on the subject of environmentalism, because this is the number one cause of species extinction. We're using more land for it than we are for almost anything else. And I just think that we're living in a mass extinction right now. And, if we don't as a species, and I mean, I'm not necessarily, I don't know how successful I'm going to be. I haven't practiced this. I don't know how successful I'm going to be in changing people's minds. But, it's important that that we as a species, if we're going to have an environmental movement, that people start to see all life on this earth as being valuable. People kind of start to realize that, we're all on this planet together.
I mean, look, we have a problem.
If we don't treat each other with respect, we're gonna kill ourselves.
I agree. But I mean, I have to remind you that 17 years ago, 15 years ago, we were killing tens of thousands of people. Ultimately, we killed hundreds of thousands of people. And if you walked around, I was a fully grown adult at this time, you walked around and asked people about it, nobody gave it a second thought. Nobody gave it a second thought. I mean, so there are limitations on a human's ability to give a crap about other people, and that is a reality. And it's also going to make it that much harder for them to give a crap about animals, which is why I say that in terms of achieving your ends, if they are strictly to save as many animal lives as possible, that making it about morality is probably the hardest route to go to get to that end, frankly. But all right, we're out of time. Interesting stuff, though. I appreciate the call.
There's a fundamental riddle here in that Sam Seder presumes that because he is a person who is opposed to the war in Afghanistan, that therefore he is a person who cares about the war in Afghanistan. So Sam Seder, your YouTube channel has thousands and thousands of videos. He uploads many videos per week. I think in the last 4 months, I think you've mentioned Afghanistan twice. That's what I think. I think there's actually a pretty solid historical record of just how little you care about politics of Afghanistan on your YouTube channel. I think it even shows how little you care in that you so casually, in this video, refer to thousands of deaths as something that happened 15 years ago, many, many years in the past. The war isn't over, Sam. And people who care know that. Year 2018, got a United Nations report here. And yeah, by the way, I was reading this report before I decided to make this video. This report's on my phone because I am interested. I do follow Afghan politics. There's an election coming up in Afghanistan right now. For some reason, the Sam Seder show is not talking about the election in Afghanistan. You're not talking about the body count in Afghanistan. You're not talking about what's going on in the war politics. Sam, you don't care. It's really easy for you to present yourself this way, that you're one of the special people. You're one of the tiny minority of Americans who care. Sam, you don't care. Year 2018, how many civilians do you think were killed in the ongoing war in Afghanistan? Year 2018. The number is 3,804. Do you think the numbers have been going down, down, down over the last 10 years? They've been going up, up, up. You can get the bar chart yourself. But to simplify, in 2010, it was about 2,794. You know, you get a good year here and there, but generally speaking, in the last 10 years, the civilian body count has only been increasing. What if you were interested in combat deaths, not civilians? What if you were interested in Afghan security forces? How many of them died? You will find the statistics are concealed. They're treated as secret. They are not broadcast because the Americans and the Afghan government would not want to demoralize people, would not want to demoralize new recruits by talking about just how many are dying in combat week after week, month after month, year after year. It's a hell of a thing for you to say, Sam. This is your argument. Your argument is nobody cared about this issue ethically or morally. Unlike you, you're one of the special ones. You're the exception to the rule, Sam. And therefore, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard to construct any moral or ethical argument to change the world. You know, whether it's about ecology, animal rights, veganism, or because these are wildly unrelated examples. I don't think you really believe that's true, Sam. I think your argument is insincere. I think you know that people signed up to fight that war in Afghanistan for ethical reasons, for moral reasons. I think you know that still to this day, people are signing up to fight and die because they think there's an ethical difference that matters between democracy and theocracy. They think there's a really important ethical and moral difference between having a country where women get to go to college and have careers, a country where everyone gets to vote, where there's freedom of the press and ballot boxes and all these features imposed from the West, no doubt. There's a difference between having a westernized, democratic, slightly gender equal Afghanistan and Afghanistan being under the rule of the Taliban. And you're so busy patting yourself on the back, presenting yourself as morally superior, perhaps morally superior to us in the audience, because you say you were against it all along. You disapproved of the war in Afghanistan from day one. Isn't that an easy thing to do? Wouldn't it be harder for you to say that you think Afghanistan would be better off today if they had been continuously ruled by a Taliban dictatorship for all these years, instead of having American intervention, establishing democracy, establishing the government they have now, a government that has elections coming up, and you on your political YouTube channel, you're not covering those Afghan elections. Because the truth is, Sam, you don't care.